Hello, welcome to my show that's hosted by Unique Voices in Films and the Path of Consciousness. I'm your host, Weam Namou, and today my guest is Leith Namou. Hey, Leith. As you can tell from the last name, Leith is related to me. He is my nephew, and very proud of him. Recently, he just earned a black belt.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Leith, you're a project manager for Cars Commerce, and you graduated from Wayne State University with a bachelor's in media arts and communication. So, as I said, you recently earned a black belt. And I don't know if people know this, but I looked it up. I did a little research and I learned that earning a black belt is an exceptionally rare achievement with only an estimated 1 to 3% of people who start martial arts training eventually reaching this rank. So, really, congratulations. I know you worked very hard on it.
Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you first and foremost, what did earning your black belt represent to you personally?
Um, it's kind of like a confusing thing. What I'm gonna say is probably more internal when you do the sport, but it's like I restarted. I realized, even though I've made it to black belt, it feels like I just started the whole process again. I'm seeing all the weakness areas that I have in the sport because I do compete. And I'm like, oh, I need to do this. I feel like I'm a brand new person when I try to do this escape or this technique. And it's because I focus on like very specific things, um, positions that I liked more, and then I neglected the others. So now I'm like feeling like I'm restarting because I'm trying to get the other things done.
Okay, I'm starting to get an idea of how you were able to accomplish
Yeah.
this. So you are able to really look at the practical side of it to focus on your weakness
Yeah.
in order to strengthen yourself to the point where you can get to the top. I worked with my teacher for quite a number of years. She passed away a few years ago. Well, she used to tell us that every time you go up the mountain, you reach the top, you go back down, and then if you want to go back up the mountain, and the process restarts. And so it seems like you have that understanding. Can I? Is this part of the teaching from the training? I'm wondering.
Yeah. I think that's something everyone eventually learns at some point in jiu-jitsu, but I would say it's more like you reach the mountain, like you were saying, and you get to the top to only realize you only made it to like the foothill of the mountain because right behind it was the bigger mountain that you're still trying to climb. And it's like a kind of like a never-ending journey. Like once you like, oh, I accomplished this, and then you look up, you're like, oh wait, now there's this thing, and I gotta do this, and it's a very flexible sport because there's always something new or different coming out of how to do X, Y, or Z thing, in it. Like like tomorrow, someone might find a new way to like show a submission, meaning like win by making their opponent give up, and now everybody's trying it, and then the next day, someone finds the another new thing, and sometimes it goes back in cycle and be like, hey, remember the first thing we ever learned? Now that's the thing, and you're like restarting and trying to make that better and trying to find your own path. It is a big journey of finding your own path of how to get that self growth and get better.
Oh, that's amazing. And so let's go back to the beginning of this because you have been involved not about 10 years. So you began your training in 2015 after searching for discipline and technical growth that you were looking for. So, what were you truly looking for at that stage in your life, and why did you end up choosing this particular sport?
Well, I always like martial arts. It's like any kid, like you see like Karate Kid movies or any of the action films, and you're like, yeah, I want to be like that. I want to learn it, and so it's something I always wanted to do. And one day I had money because like I got a professional job. um, what got me into knowing I wanted to make sure jiu-jitsu is part of that was one, I wanted confidence, and I know I always heard martial arts gets you that. But two, I had a cousin named Andy who one day in the backyard said, "Hey, I'll give you like, I don't know, was it like $10, $15 to just go at it with me for like 5 minutes?" Like that was the bet. So we went into my uncle Anan's backyard and we went through it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, that was very fun. I want to do it again one day. Um, and so that's what kind of happened. Is just during a period, like I just came back from a Europe trip. I'm like, man, I really want a sport where I can just focus on myself. I don't have to rely on others, and I knew I wanted that confidence. So I'm like, jiu-jitsu is something I want to make sure I get in there, and that's what made me like reach out and find my teacher, Jason Kazmarek. His school actually is what I should say. I found his school, and then that's how I started.
So was Andy involved in a school, or was he just kind of, just a hobby for him at that point?
Andy, actually at that point he was on hiatus. Um, he used to actually go to a jiu-jitsu school that Jason went through, and that's how I kind of found the school
Okay,
too a little bit.
so there was some kind of a connection to
Yeah,
that particular. It wasn't just kind of random. I
yeah,
see.
yeah. So, yeah, so Andy once again came through on that aspect, but like he was on hiatus. He would eventually join me back again later on.
Well, you said that that you heard about how martial arts helps you in various ways, including build confidence. So, how would you say that it has helped your mindset since you started? How have you evolved personality-wise from having a white belt to black belt?
I find that when I actually have knowledge in something and I have knowledge in the sense of where I could actually understand it, teach it, explain it, such as like what I do in jiu-jitsu, which gets very complex at times, or even the basic things like there's so many little details that my confidence comes out. I can talk about it, I can run through the whole process with someone, and people will see the difference in me when it is a topic I know about or an interest versus how I may be more quiet or shy away from things I don't really know. Um, but you can see it. I'm told you can see two different parts of my personality regarding that. So you can see I'm very confident when I'm in there, um, and especially when I'm in the gym. Like it's like another home.
Now, did you feel that way? It seems like you got the first taste of it by practicing with your nephew. I'm sorry, with your cousin, my nephew. But when you went to the school, did you feel that way right off the bat, or did you see it challenging? Were there doubts in the beginning when you started?
No, I understood I was gonna be at the bottom. Like I knew nothing, and kind of like a Socratic thing, like Socrates, like know that you know nothing. So I kind of went into that mindset. I wasn't really expecting myself to get to where I was. So I was looking at it as I was gonna probably do it as a very hobbyist thing and not compete. And once I competed, that made it like a different change of how I approached it. But beginning, I knew that I was probably gonna get a beating of my life.
Is this the person that you had mentioned earlier?
No, that's a Naga tournament that I participated in brown belt, and when I won that tournament, that's the belt I get for like winning.
So these tournaments, I believe, they are in different cities in the United States, or
All over the world.
all over the world.
I've only gone to Michigan, Ohio, Chicago for these tournaments, but I'm planning to at times go uh, further. I'm hoping there's one in Vegas, Worlds, and there's one in Florida called Pans, and I want to do a tournament. Just those are big names. Maybe I'll do ADCC, and if maybe not, I don't know. I'm debating like how far I go uh, with my travels because it gets expensive.
Mm-hmm. And where is the gym that I was just
Yeah.
showing?
Oh, 21 Mile and Hayes,
Mm-hmm.
Proving Grounds Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. It's right next to the Hayes Cafe there. So it's a big plaza. I would say it's, I think, west side on the road.
Do you teach there or you just practice there?
Um, I help out, so sometimes something comes up and they ask, "Hey, we need someone to cover a class or something." I'll volunteer, but otherwise, it's more about if someone comes up to me asking for help, advice, or how do I do this, and I make myself usually available to help assist them to improve on their areas. Unless it gets to a topic, there's so many things in jiu-jitsu, so some areas are not my expertise. I can try to help a little bit better than where they're at, and then recommend who is more of an expert on certain techniques. But yeah, I usually try to help out.
Well, you also have a full-time job. You're a project manager, as I mentioned, at Cars Commerce. So, how do you manage having a full-time schedule? Even this interview, we scheduled it around your schedule when you said you get off at 5 o'clock, and you said that you can't come only after. So, I was thinking, well, how did you juggle, or how do you even juggle it? Because I know you're still practicing the sport. How do you juggle that, and how were you able to stay so focused?
So initially at my previous job before Cars Commerce, there was a little bit more flexation in my time. So let's say I started at 8, I can leave at 4. So that helped me, hit most classes. Um, Even now, like once I get off work, I go straight to the gym. I have everything. I usually make sure everything's ready so I can just leave on time and then try to get to the gym as soon and hit as many classes as I can get. Most classes start at 6. Some start at 5, depending on the day. The schedule's on the website for Proving Grounds, jj.com. But I just make sure I just get there. I sacrifice any other interests. I don't really have too many other interests. Jiu-jitsu kind of become part of what I do.
And by the way, we're going to include that link once we post the interview.
Yeah,
So we'll include the link for that. So I'd like to know, you're Chaldean, both of your parents are Chaldean,
Yeah.
but you were born in the United States in Michigan. But how do you think that your Chaldean upbringing influenced you on how, regarding the discipline, and the work ethics that you have? You have incredible work ethics. I mean, I noticed that about you from an early age, about how you were committed, and then you kind of just go after what you want. But this was just a new a new level with the black belt. But how do you think that has influenced your dedication?
Not fully sure. I just know within the community, in the Chaldean community, I've seen it with my cousins and others, that there is that focus to like work and have a drive. Um, and I think that's part of our culture. We're people that we have a strong drive to find what we want and how to get there, and we try to use almost any means we can to get there. And that actually can relate to jiu-jitsu because you're trying to always find a new skill, a new way of doing something to drive through that. And to get to those points and have that drive, you have to have that focus. Whether my dad took me to his place of work, or when we had the video stores, we always focused on like how do we improve things, how do we make it better, cleaning or handling customers. And I think we were forced to think of being creative because we're such a small group in our culture, that we had to be ambitious. We had to think outside the box. We had to stick with it regardless of if it sucked or if it was great.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought of it that way, but you're right. I think we are a small group that we learn, survival from the time that we were back home. and then we continued it here. And yeah, so watching that, I think being a part of that, going to your dad's store, going to the video store where I worked, I managed a video store, a family-owned video store for over 12 years, which I think all the abled, old, old enough nephews and nieces worked there with regards whether they helped clean or whatever they did. But it does do something for you where there's a certain types of focus and patience. Patience. 10 years of you training to get what you got today. So it didn't happen overnight. It took a lot of patience. What, how do you think this could be healthy? I mean, there's a million and one ways, but because of your involvement in it, right now with kids, they're talking about how social media and people are kind of leaning too much on their phones and social media, and kids are not being so involved. And there's my son recently did a report on obesity in the United States, it's especially in children, how this is affecting them. So personality and character wise, what does this do for, because I think you guys also have classes for children.
Kids, yeah.
Yes. What does this have, from your observation being there for 10 years, what does this do for them? How does this help them in regards to their characters and having a healthier mind? You know, sometimes our answers are, and when we talk about mental issues, sometimes really mental issues can be, depending, I mean, I'm not talking just like the more serious issues, but there are some times where exercise just helps you. Me walking the dog out in nature, as much pressure going on, that gives me such peace that I can come back and focus on the important things and continue my day in a different way than before I took that walk, for as an example. So tell us what the benefits that you've observed over time and how could this be very healthy for children.
I think Jiu-Jitsu is probably one of the best martial arts for children, especially for ones that, I love technology. I think there's really good aspects of a kid learning and using technology because they're going to need to use it in the future, jobs, things like that. But obviously there is like something like too much screen time, too much sitting and playing games on it. And what's nice about jiu-jitsu is they can actually have a physical game. Like I mentioned, I can compete, I can do things like that, but they don't have to compete. What they can do is go to the gym, learn some techniques, and they're training. You have to have a training buddy. So now it's not just one person, it's a whole class of kids. And they're learning a new skill set, and they're going to have wins, losses, and that builds character for them to win, lose, find new ways of winning, get frustrated, and then find ways of success, and they get frustrated again. And it almost felt like a video game for me doing that. So it becomes fun. And you're not reliant on a team. You're reliant on yourself. So it's about watching yourself grow and watching the kids gain confidence that way. I've seen so many have been really hard for themselves, kids that grew and grew and became better and better, and they're just having so much fun, and they become champs. We even got like some kids, David Rice, who very young kid, who went to ADCC recently, and that's called Abu Dhabi Combat something, and won it. And he goes against like adults or people 20 pounds heavier than him. We got some girls, Alexia, Olivia, and then one of the big ones coming out is Joe Myers. I'm so proud of all of them because they just keep going and competing. And there was times I used to teach kids, and one parent came up to me like her girl lacks confidence, and one day she gains confidence, and this boy's picking on her, and she tells me the story. The boy keeps pulling her hair, and the parents gave her permission, use your jiu-jitsu. And she didn't hurt the boy, but she restrained him, took his back, sat him down, and then this boy stopped bullying her because obviously she had the skill set to stop that. And it's kind of cool hearing those stories and watching the kids grow regarding that.
Hey, that was an amazing story. We hear so many negative stories on whether it's on social media or even in the news, about how kids got hurt or they hurt themselves due to depression or being bullied or what have you. And here's this child, this person, this young person who, because of the skills that she learned, she knew how to protect herself without hurting somebody else. It sounds like almost an old-fashioned way of lifestyle, how we grew up, is that we knew how to feel frustrated and be okay about it and how to defend ourselves without really going to the extent of hurting the other person to the point where some kids take it today. Um, Also, it seems like they understand that when it comes to frustration, there are ways to work around it inwardly. Um, and the limits of the body, what your body can do, and how you can even protect it and also protect others. That's a lot of learning within a sports class. That's wonderful.
Yeah, definitely.
How old is the youngest that starts there usually?
Usually it depends on maturity. You know, you don't want to force a kid to do something they really, really don't want to do. But usually I think the recommendation is like 5 or 6 years age to start. But if I've seen kids like, you know, hey, I really want to do this, I really want, and then they show this weird like above and beyond maturity. So I've seen like a little bit younger, and they'll join in. Those ones are the best because they have that fierceness and that shine in their eyes, and they're just going in ready to take on the world. Um, but yeah, usually I'd say 6 or a little bit older, but it can be a little bit younger at times. We just want to make sure they enjoy it and not hate the sport because, like I mentioned, it can bring a lot of satisfaction internally for them. Even just to mention, like kids with ADHD or other like they're high functioning but like have those social disabilities. Actually, a lot of the top people in the sport, like that 1% best ones, have social disabilities or ADHD, and they're like the best in the sport because the sport keeps you focused and like you're having fun, so you want to keep concentrating on it.
So it seems like it draws the best out of them so
Yeah.
that they can, okay. You credit your coach and teammates for your growth. What role has mentorship, played in your journey, and how do you now embody that role for others?
I think it played a great role because, like I mentioned, Jason Kazmarek, one of the best role models I can imagine for jiu-jitsu. He pulled a team together for his gym, like Don Richards, Patrick, Dylan, Amy. Like I mentioned, Joe Myers, young kid. He doesn't have his black belt yet, but he can take on black belts. And he builds like instructors. There's more like Mike Denaj and Steve Delkert, who's a world champion in Michigan, also a PANS champion in Michigan. These are all my training buddies, and then obviously there's other students and peers. I'm not trying to not. I would love to mention all the coaches, but um, without them, like my hard times would be harder. Like my frustrations when I lost that, maybe a tournament I really cared about would be difficult. I once had an injury, and injuries can make you feel like I just want to quit. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to do this again. The injury wasn't worth it, and they're supportive. They're like they understand if you want to quit, but they're there for you when if you want to be going, if you want to keep going, and they're always there for me. They encourage me. I'm like, yeah, this is the right spot for me. This is the right people I want to be around. I want in my life, and even after an injury, like I had one in my shoulder, I came back. They helped me feel better than ever, and I felt like I was so behind. And then one day, I'm like, oh, I caught up. I'm back where I was, and I don't think I could have done it without them. Injury wise, personality wise, or even my self growth, they were very crucial to where I am today. Because who knows, like just the wrong people can mean you quit early and not even get to the destination you're trying to get to.
That was going to be my next question, and is that for people that feel intimidated by trying this out, maybe they feel like this is not suitable for them, but they want to see. What would you say to them? Um, People who are attracted to this but are intimidated by it.
So the gym is very friendly, especially at proving grounds. And I would say the relationship we have even with other gyms is amazing. I've cross trained at many gyms, and the one thing I could say is when you go to do jiu-jitsu and you're at a good gym, they are very friendly and welcoming, and all they want to do is help. All you have to do is take that first step, get inside the gym, maybe do the free trial class, and no one's out to hurt you. They care about your safety just as much as they would care about their own, and they just want you to learn because that means another training buddy, and we cheer on each other's success. Yes, we want to get better ourselves, but there is a satisfaction of when your buddy just has a hard time, is frustrated, and he finally gets the move he was trying to get, and seeing that, being there, and it's a very intimate sport because you're working, obviously, wrestling against each other, grappling against each other. So, um, but I think the first step is just getting in there and just giving it a try. Just ignore everything, the voices in your head, anything that's telling you, don't do it. You're not ready. I need to lose weight. You're gonna lose weight doing this. You're gonna if you're saying I need more experience, I hear that all the time. Like, you're gonna get more experience by just starting. You have to start somewhere, and doing a class is a great way to start. And just keep going. It's baby steps basically. Like, it took me 10 years, right, to get a black belt, but I had to start. I had to take that foot in the door, and fortunately I met like great people that helped me become better.
Well, Leith, you make this so interesting. I'm almost tempted to take a class and try it out. I mean, I do a lot of yoga, but I know that watching people that do martial arts, I watched you before. I've
Yeah.
come to the place before, to the gym, and it looks very interesting. So, what last words that you want to share with the audience, or it could be last words with the audience, or even last words with regards to where are you going next with this?
I would say, like I said earlier, like if you're interested in martial arts, and even if it's safety, one of your issues, like we tap, meaning like give up, let go, get off. I can keep myself by being humble, and better than probably other sports where if I fall like due to gravity, I can't say I give up, gravity, don't hurt me. Um, but at my gym, Proving Grounds, and once again, 21 in Hayes, pay us a visit. It's an amazing gym. We have Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and I've done both. I've actually done so many different martial arts through my journey, and this thanks to Jason starting his journey, building up his gym, that I got to learn so much and get better. And like, so I don't just do jiu-jitsu right now. That's my main focus, but I used to do so much more. But come visit us there. I would like to, if you don't mind, but if you are interested and you're looking for some gear, they do sell at Proving Grounds, like to get you started if you want like a gi. But if you really like it, also check out Black Ice Premium Fightwear. If you Google search it, Black Ice Premium Fightwear, you'll find a lot of clothing that will support David Rice. I mentioned him earlier. He won ADCC. The kid's not even 16 yet, and he's beating adults that are like 20 plus pounds heavier than him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe one day I'll connect with him.
yeah,
He sounds very interesting as well.
yeah. Um, and then check out Joe Myers. If you guys are interested, and you'll get to see he posts a lot of his work, and he competes at a very high level. I would say he's one of the futures of jiu-jitsu. Like, we're gonna see him probably get to that high level where like many people dream of. Like, if there's a hockey player that wants to get to the NHL, I think Joe Myers is gonna get there, and David Rice is on his tail. Um, so
Well,
our
I
gym
think
offers
part
that.
of I think part of your success could also be the fact that you really do seem to support others, and that's a very nice quality, Dave.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I have to say again, the family and myself included, of course, we're very proud of you. You've
Yeah,
accomplished quite a bit aside from, college and now black belt and all the other things that are in your life. Very beautiful life that you lead. So we look forward to see what's going to happen next, and maybe we'll have you back on the show for for future. Who knows what you'll accomplish next. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you, actually.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a wonderful day.